here with Dr. Ludmilla Derr. And of course, she dares to be herself, she dares to be different. No pun intended, or maybe there is a pun intended. She is one of the most amazing people that I've met. She's gone through so much in her short life because she is an amazing lady. She's done so much. She keeps going forward, especially for our industry. So many things happening. She is a leader. If you don't know her, you need to look her up. Like you've been missing a lot. Follow her on LinkedIn for sure. But I am very excited to welcome you. We're going to do a short interview about the book that you was a chapter in. A very nice chapter, I may say so myself. It's a very interesting chapter. Thank you for joining us this morning on my side.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you also for asking to write the chapter. So I'm very
yes, because like I saw your story and I'm like, wow. Like, wow. It blew me away. And when you sent in your chapter, I did not put your chapter down until I got to the very end. And I'm like, this needs to be out there. So, and I'm talking so much about the chapter while trying not to give away certain parts of it because it's in the book. It's in the New Empowering Woman in STEM book. But before we get into that, I want to let people know a little bit more about you. What is a typical, I know there's no such thing, a typical day in the life of for you in terms of what you do, what's your job, what's your career? Like, what does that look like just for our audience? Very
actually
exciting.
something like typical day doesn't exist in my
Yes.
world. So it's a variety of topics. It's mostly about mobility, mostly about sustainability, innovations, technology. That's the technical part. And then the other part is, or we do something on the technical marketing side, some kind of projects, be it with startups or be it with global players. Or I do also personal coaching, or give also group trainings on technical marketing, on LinkedIn, communication, etc. So even if that's as unusual as it is, I don't have marketing background. That's actually the exciting part, right? So I do come from technology, from the technical side, from chemistry, from material science. And yes, I coach people on marketing topics.
I know you have such an interesting background. Like, I absolutely love it because a lot of times people think that if they're in the technical world, they can't do any sort of creative work. Or if they're in the creative world, they can't do any technical work. Well, guess what? You all can do it because she's doing it and she's doing an amazing job of getting that done and bringing all of the worlds together. And I think that gives us like a bit of a broader perspective on certain things because you have this background. You know about the way that people think in the technical world. Like sometimes not everybody thinks about numbers, just putting it out there. Not everybody thinks about the numbers, but the facts involved, how things work, and like you being able to bridge that gap and really bring that forward for all of us. Like I love the job that you're doing right now. Totally love it. Now I'm gonna ask you a question. Why did you decide to write this chapter about I dare to be different, I dare to be, me? Why did you decide to share this besides me begging and asking for you to do it? Um, why did you decide to write this chapter?
Because the hard truth is actually that it's true that still women are underrepresented in the technical and technological topics in our professional life. It is just fact. I mean, I studied chemistry, of course. We have like in some parts of chemistry, we have 50-50. So it's okay. But as long as you go a little bit in the direction of engineering, which I went in the material science, you have male-dominated industries, and in automotive, of course, it's just true. I mean, we organize also conferences, and I go to so many other conferences. I mean, the ratio is 95% male and 5% women. And if you go higher in the management, it doesn't look so well. No? So
Yeah.
we need role models. We need to show also that different career paths are possible, and also that you can change. And I mean, I was in the corporate life and I was like very straightforward, right? So like you do your high school degree, and then
Right.
you study and you do your PhD, and then you kind of throw it away. No? So that
Yes.
was the vision of the world a little bit. Like you throw it away and you do now what marketing, technical marketing is, what was it for? So, you know, and that's also my my purpose, let's say, to show it can be interpreted differently. So first of all, for example, in order to do technical marketing, you need technical understanding.
Yes.
That's what makes you then,
Yes.
it's a benefit. It
Yes.
is a benefit. And I would even say it's a must.
It is. I think so too. Because you need to know what you're talking about, right? You should.
Exactly. You should, absolutely. It's not like, yeah, marketing is the easy part. No, it's not,
No.
especially when we talk about modern marketing, what does it mean
Mm-hmm.
with all LinkedIn and social media communication in general, etc. So it's quite complex. It's a little bit more than just, you know, a little bit of likes, a little bit of comments. No,
Yes,
it's
yes. People see the highlight reel and they're like, oh,
exactly.
yeah, that's it. That's fine. There's so much more involved in terms of the content creation, making sure it resonates with your audience, making sure you know what you're talking about. Start there, making sure you know what you're talking about, and you know what you're
Exactly.
talking about for sure. I saw, and I'm gonna bring it up. You did a post on LinkedIn recently with passing on the book to um a very important person. And I loved the fact that you talked about, and this is at the heart and soul of this book, of this entire series, talked about the fact that it's not just about the woman, it's about the men as well. Because we have to work together. And this is something that when we started off with the series, it was a very strong goal, and I made sure that whatever we did in these books, it was not about talking badly about one or the other, because we need each other to survive. It's not this one gets higher, this one gets lower. No, we are always about working together. So I'm gonna ask you to just tell us a little bit about that experience and share some more information. And for those who didn't see the LinkedIn post, and if you didn't, you're missing out on a lot. So try and fix that. Go ahead.
Basically, the message was there
Mm-hmm.
that when we talk about diversity, when we talk about equality, it's not women against men. So
Mm-mm.
it's not like one side is winning, another one is losing. We
Mm-hmm.
win both when we give the opportunities to women also to participate in that. So, and it's, by the way, it's backed by science. It is.
Yes.
The companies that have more women in the boards, or in general that have more women represented there, they win. It
Yeah.
is, I mean, it's really backed by financial numbers. So it's not just some kind of woo-woo or we should be nice to each other, etc. So no,
Mhm.
it's not. And what I also don't like, not just to stand for that, because I don't stand for that, but
Mhm.
also to see that in the world, that it's very
Yes.
aggressive when we talk about diversity and
Mm-hmm.
inclusion, etc. So, and it's really like kind of fight. I don't see myself
Mm-hmm.
there. I don't
Yeah.
see myself on the side of on the side of the. I don't even like this expression of being feminist or something, you know.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you. Oh my
Because when
gosh.
you think about that, I'm not.
Yeah.
I do support women and I do support also men.
Yes.
I mean, because it is, we said, it's actually mutual respect,
Mm-hmm.
it's mutual benefit when we work together. So, and therefore, and in that meeting was actually kind of a coincidence, because we really
Ah.
met for business lunch, and we were
Mm-hmm.
talking about underrepresentation of women, particularly in, it is heavy duty, it's
Yes.
trucks, etc. So transportation. And it's true, there are not so many women that work in
Mm-hmm.
those topics. Even if you, let's say, talk about the whole automotive, you will
Right.
find more women working with, let's say, passenger cars than with
Uh-huh.
trucks.
Yes.
It's just like this, right? So, and there it's really like a huge problem. So therefore, for me, it was also important, like to show, okay, there are different stories. We are
Yes.
like 22 chapters, right? 22
Mm-hmm.
different
Yes.
paths, 22 very, very different personalities and
Yes,
personal stories. It's so amazing. And it's also
yes.
like what attracts who, or what was important for who, why
Mhm.
somebody chose this or that path. So that was so inspiring for me. And I wanted to pass this message. No? So like,
Oh, yes.
look at that. Here you have 22 different exceptional stories, and yeah, look at that. And maybe like some kinds of hints will be
Mhm.
how you can actually attract women to work for you.
Yes. And I
So
think like that's one of the things, especially with this book. And I think some people get confused. Even though we say it's empowering women in STEM, the audience of the book is not just for women, it's for men too. Because sometimes we've been in these sort of male populated environments for such a long time that a female coming into that environment is a change for them. So they don't know what to do. And being able to communicate about, this is what that female is, feeling, or this is what they're, you know, having to go through on a daily basis, then that gets their brain thinking and they're like, oh, wait, I didn't know that. I didn't think about that because they are not in that position. So it's really about trying to help everybody to bring this workforce together because if you think about it, we're having this gap in skills, in the trades, in a lot of these other industries. We need somebody to fill the gap, and it would be men and women. We have to work together to fill that. And we've been doing the same thing for a long time, and that does not lead to evolution. So the only way we could start changing that is if we start making changes in the way that we hire, the way that we include people, different practices, different modes. So I love that, you know, we are spreading that message of, bringing both men and women into STEM because that's where we see, that's how we evolve, that's how we go forward. So I love that. I absolutely love that. So, my other question to you, what would you say to anybody listening to this or anybody watching this? What would you say to inspire them to actually join like a STEM field? And I will, make the disclaimer. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Recently, they included the A in it, so it's now STEAM, and that includes the art side of it, which was missing for quite some time when they had that shorter acronym. But all of those parts are very important. So, what would you say to inspire somebody to go into one of these fields?
I would love to use a quotation that I heard
Ah,
from a mom of somebody who did with me the PhD, who went with me
ah,
through this whole process. We were actually sharing an office together,
nice.
and we were going quite through difficult time, So I
Yes.
mean, everyone does.
Yes.
When you do your PhD, there's a time like you think like, oh, maybe giving up or whatever. It's like, and we were sitting there and discussing, and she told me like, you know what my mom said? If you know even at least one person who has something that you want to have, or who has already that life you want to have, then it's possible for you too. If there's at least one person who can
Mm,
do that, you can do that too.
yes.
And I want to put out this message. So if you know somebody who
Mm-hmm.
already lives your dream, or at least part of that or something, then it is definitely, definitely possible for you too. And
Yes.
nothing so, let's say, inspiring. If you go to that person, if you reach out and you just
Mm-hmm.
ask simply, especially if you are like really growing up,
Yeah.
girls, etc. So people love to share their success
Yes.
stories, how they did it, etc. So maybe that's why also we wrote that book also, partly that's so. But um, it's really cool to reach out and just to ask like, how did you do that? Or I stay there and that's my obstacle. What would you
Right.
say if were me, let's say in that time, like, I don't know, 10, 20, 15 years back, etc. So people love to share that. So
They
therefore,
do.
go and write your own story.
Yes, yes, because if you really think about it, we all are writing our story every single day. And the things that we do today, it's what's going to affect the future. Like, that's what's going to inspire the future generation. So, while that feels like a lot of a heavy load to carry, we are there charting the way forward and making sure that, we have the future generation in our, in our mindset, because we need to make the entire globe, and I'm saying the entire globe, a better place than we found it. Like that's always the challenge. The challenge is always make it better than when you found it initially. And it's up to the next generation to do that. So we will do what we can, but we need you all to, help us out with that, because when you think about it, we've been evolving so much, especially in technology. Especially in technology. There's so many things that exist today, like this Zoom call, that did not exist 15 years ago. So we are evolving, but we need the future generations to be part of that. And the future generation is exactly that, the future generation. Boys, girls, everybody's included for that. And it's, being able to see females in particular roles that were traditionally, male roles helps, and vice versa. Males in traditionally seen female roles. That helps people to understand the skill levels that we need to get. Because that's what we're at. We're at no job has a particular gender associated with it. And that's one thing that I want people to remember all the time. If you see, just like Dr. Dare said, if you see somebody doing something that you want to do, reach out to them and ask them, well, how did you start here? Because it starts with the baby steps. It starts with the baby steps, and then you go forward from there. So I am so happy that we were able to align our schedules and have this call with Ludmilla, because like I love everything that you're doing. Totally love it. Total fangirl on this side. And you had an amazing chapter. You all need to check out her chapter. She talks about her journey. And if you didn't know, she speaks quite a few different languages. So I know she can, you know, help me out with any other question. If we have anything in a different language, she's definitely my go-to for that. She talks about her transition from different countries, the way that she, I would say, grew up in the industry, and how she changed trajectories. So it's never linear. You don't always have to follow the path that society says that you have to follow. And she's a great example of that. I think the main thing that we talk about is following your intuition and what you believe that you should be doing. That little voice inside of you needs to amplify that a bit, and listen to that. So I love what you did with the chapter. You all need to check out the chapter. It's available in the Empowering Women in STEM book, published by CRC Press and Taylor and Francis. That is out in the world. You can find it online. And, maybe if you reach out to Dr. Dare and ask if you're around her area, she may sign a copy for you. So that would be brilliant if she can do that. So thank you so much for your time this morning and for sharing your story with us, for being so open with us, and for continuing to spread the message of, getting more people involved in STEM, because that's what it's about. Both men and women, we're not here to fight. Nobody can do that. It doesn't make sense. Waste of energy. So thank you all so much for tuning in today, and thank you, Ludmilla, for being with us.
Thank you so much for your kind words.
Oh, you're most welcome.
Dare to be different, dare to be you.
Yes, definitely. You have to be. All right. Thanks so much. Bye.